Welcome, my friends. Today I want to take you on a journey that will not only touch your heart but also awaken something deep inside your soul. This is not just the story of a businessman, not just the tale of wealth or success or fame. This is the story of a man who began with nothing, who faced rejection after rejection, and who, despite all odds, rose to inspire the entire world. His name is Jack Ma. But before he became the global icon we know today, Jack was just a boy born in Hangzhou, China, in 1964, a time when China was poor, isolated, and filled with uncertainty. His family was not wealthy. They struggled. They had no connections, no influence, no privilege. Jack grew up skinny, small, and often overlooked. As a child, Jack was fascinated by English. Every morning he would ride his old bicycle to the hotels in Hangzhou, where tourists stayed. He would offer free tours of the city, not for money, but for practice. He wanted to talk, to listen, to learn. He wanted to connect with the world beyond China's walls. Imagine this little boy, no taller than the handlebars of his bike, chasing foreigners just to say, "Hello, I am Jack. Can I practice English with you?" Most would smile. Some ignored him, but he never gave up. Over years of persistence, Jack not only mastered English, but also built a mindset far bigger than his environment. He dreamed of a world without limits. But dreaming did not mean life was easy. In fact, Jack's life was full of failure. In school, he failed, again and again. He failed his primary school exams, twice. He failed his middle school exams, 3 times. When he finally applied for college, he failed the entrance exam. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Most people would have stopped. Most would have said, maybe I'm just not smart enough. Maybe success isn't for me. But Jack Ma, he refused. When he finally passed and entered Hangzhou Normal University, he studied to become an English teacher. But even after he traveled to the United States as a translator. While there, he encountered something that most people in China had never even heard of: the internet. When his American friends showed him a computer and connected it to the web, Jack's eyes widened with wonder. They typed the word beer into a search engine. Results appeared from Germany, from the United States, from everywhere, but not a single one from China. Jack asked them to try China. Again, nothing. No results. And in that moment, he felt something powerful ignite inside him. If there is no China on the internet, he thought, then I will bring China to the internet. It sounds simple now, but back then China had almost no access to the online world. Computers were rare, connections were slow, and few people even believed the internet could matter. But Jack believed. He returned home and started his first online venture, China Pages, a directory for Chinese businesses. It failed. The technology was too new, and people did not yet understand it. But Jack did not quit. In 1999, in his tiny apartment in Hangzhou, Jack gathered 17 of his friends. With fire in his eyes and conviction in his voice, he shared his vision: to build a platform where small businesses can compete with big ones, to give every small shop, every small dream, a chance to go global. That night, Alibaba was born. The name itself came from the old tale, Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, a story about magic, about discovering treasure hidden in plain sight. Jack wanted his company to be like that, a key to hidden opportunities, a door that could open for anyone. But starting Alibaba was no fairy tale. At the time, China's internet industry was dominated by giants. Funding was scarce. Investors laughed at him. Some said, "You know nothing about technology, nothing about business, nothing about coding. How can you possibly succeed?" Jack smiled and said, "I may know nothing about technology, but I know about people. And I believe people, not machines, build great." This was Jack's philosophy in action. Never fear the giants. Never let rejection define you. If you truly understand people, you can move mountains. Alibaba's victory over eBay was not just a business success, it was a cultural triumph. It proved that understanding your people, your market, and your culture was far more powerful than copying foreign giants. As Taobao grew, Alibaba expanded into new areas. Jack Ma launched Alipay, an online payment system that many critics dismissed as foolish. Nobody will trust sending money online, they said. But Jack understood something deeper. Trust is built through experience. He promised users, "Your money is safe. If you don't receive what you paid for, I will personally guarantee your refund." That simple act of trust changed everything. People began to believe. Alipay became the backbone of online commerce in China. What started as a risky experiment turned into one of the most successful financial services in the world. By the late 2000s, Alibaba had transformed into a global powerhouse. In 2014, it went public on the New York Stock Exchange, raising $25 billion, the largest IPO in history at that time. The world could no longer ignore Jack Ma or his vision. But even with success, Jack never saw himself as a traditional CEO. He often told his employees, "I am not your boss. I am your partner. I am your fellow dreamer." He encouraged fun, creativity, and passion. At company events, Jack would dress up in rock star outfits, sing songs on stage, and dance with his employees. He believed business was not just about money, but about joy and energy. Jack's leadership style was simple yet powerful. Put customers first. If our customers are happy, we will survive. Employees second. If our employees are happy, they will take care of our customers. Shareholders last. If customers and employees are happy, then shareholders will be happy too. This people-centered philosophy made Alibaba more than a company. It became a movement. Jack's story is not about becoming the richest man in China. It is about proving that even a boy who failed his exams, who was rejected from every job, who was laughed at by investors, could rise and inspire the world. His message was always clear. Don't give up. Don't listen to those who say you can't. If you keep going, one day the world will remember your name. Jack Ma's global influence began to grow rapidly after Alibaba's historic IPO in 2014. Overnight, he became one of the most recognizable entrepreneurs in the world. But unlike other billionaires who spoke mainly about money and profits, Jack spoke about dreams, education, and building a better future for humanity. He stood on global stages, at the World Economic Forum in Davos, at United Nations meetings, and at universities across the world, and shared his philosophy. He didn't talk like a banker or a politician. He talked like a teacher, a storyteller, and sometimes like a comedian. He told students, if you want to be successful, help others succeed. If you want to be respected, respect others first. And if you want to go far, go together. His words resonated because they came from a man who had lived through rejection, failure, and pain. Jack's vision was never limited to China. He wanted to empower entrepreneurs everywhere, in Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and beyond. He believed technology could give small businesses in poor countries the same power and opportunity as large corporations in rich countries. In 2017, Jack launched the Alibaba Business School and the eFounders Fellowship, training young entrepreneurs from developing nations. He traveled to Africa and told young dreamers, don't copy China, don't copy America, build your own path for your own people with your own ideas. To Jack, the real heroes were not billionaires, but teachers, farmers, shopkeepers, and small entrepreneurs who worked tirelessly for their families. He believed the internet was not just a tool for making money, but a tool for making dreams possible. As Alibaba grew into one of the most valuable companies on earth, Jack shocked the world with an announcement in 2018. He would step down as chairman in 2019 on his 55th birthday. Unlike many tycoons who cling to power until the end, Jack wanted to leave at the peak of his success. He explained, I don't want to die in my office. I want to die on the beach. Life is short. I want to return to what I love most. Teaching his retirement wasn't an end. It was a new beginning. Jack dedicated his time to education, philanthropy, and inspiring young leaders. Through the Jack Ma Foundation, he invested in rural teachers, supported environmental projects, and promoted women in leadership. Even though he stepped away from Alibaba, Jack remained a global voice. He warned about the dangers of overworking, urging young people to care for their health. He spoke about artificial intelligence and technology, reminding the world that machines should never replace human compassion and creativity. Machines are clever, but humans are wise, he said. Wisdom will always win over intelligence. Jack Ma's life is filled with timeless lessons. 1. Failure is the greatest teacher. He was rejected again and again, but each rejection gave him resilience. 2. Dream big, but stay humble. From a small teacher in Hangzhou to one of the richest men in the world, Jack never forgot his roots. 3. Serve others, not just yourself. His success came because he created opportunities for millions of small businesses. 4. Leadership is about love. He treated his employees like partners, not workers. He inspired through energy and vision, not fear. 5. The future belongs to dreamers. Jack believed young people, women, and small entrepreneurs would shape the next century. Today, Jack Ma lives more quietly than before, but his spirit continues to inspire millions. His speeches are replayed in classrooms, his quotes are shared on social media, and his journey is studied by entrepreneurs across the globe. Jack once said, "If I can succeed, 80% of young people can succeed. Because I am nothing special. I had no money, no connections, and no powerful family. I only had belief, and that was enough." His story is proof that success is not about where you start, but about how much heart you put into your journey. Jack Ma's story is not just about business. It is about humanity, about the courage to dream and the strength to keep going when everyone doubts you. And that is why his spirit will live forever. In every classroom, in every small shop, and in every dreamer who dares to believe. And so, the story of Jack Ma is not just the story of a man, it is the story of possibility, of rejection turned into resilience, of failure transformed into fuel, of a teacher who dreamed, who stumbled, who stood up again and again, until the world could no longer ignore him. Jack Ma teaches us that you don't need to be born rich. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need perfect English or powerful connections. What you need is belief. Belief that tomorrow can be better. Belief that your dream matters. Belief that you can rise, even when the world says you cannot. Because rejection is not the end. It is redirection. Because struggle is not weakness. It is strength in disguise. Because failure is not defeat. It is the beginning of wisdom. So remember this. If Jack Ma, a thin boy from Hangzhou, rejected by Harvard 10 times, rejected by KFC, told he was not smart enough, not handsome enough, not good enough, could one day stand on the world stage and inspire billions, then so can you. Inside you too, there is a Jack Ma, a dreamer, a fighter, a believer, and the world is waiting for you to rise. The best is yet to come, and it begins with you.